everyone! Today I'm going to create my personal website landing page using Figma Sites from scratch, publish it and connect it to my custom domain. Ready? Let's get started. I've already opened a blank site. To do that, you need to create a new site. In the previous video, we explored the templates, but this time choose blank site. It opens a web page with two breakpoints, desktop and mobile. I prefer to start with the desktop, so let's delete the mobile one. I've inserted the images I want to use and created style frames for the text and colors. So I'm ready to create my styles. If you already know how to create text and color styles, feel free to skip this part. I've set the font, size, and weight for the text. You can either choose your own or grab the starter file from the link in the description and follow along. Let's start by creating our styles. I have 3 headings. Let's select heading 1, go to the design panel, under typography, click the 4 circle icon. Then click the plus button to create new text style. Give it a name and a description if needed. We can also add breakpoints. Click the plus button and choose desktop. Add another one for tablet. I think 60 might be a bit large for tablet, so let's change it to 45. Now let's add a mobile breakpoint and set the size to 30. Now when we use this style across different breakpoints, it will automatically apply the correct size. Let's move on to heading 2 and create a new style. I think this size works well on all breakpoints, so no need to add any. I'm going to fast forward and create the rest of the text styles. Next, let's create the color styles. This time we'll create the styles in a different way. Go to the design panel and click the plus button next to styles. You'll see 4 types of styles you can create. Click on color to create one. Like with text styles, we can give it a name, description, and properties. I'll call this one background. Click on the color, grab the eyedropper, and pick the color. For the next one, in the name field, I'll type text/paragraph to create a group inside the color styles called text, with a color for paragraph inside it. Use the other colors to create the rest of the color styles. I've already inserted my logo and made it into a component. Let's go ahead and start designing the landing page. I've already created the wireframe. Let me turn off the layout grid to show you what we're going to do. On the desktop breakpoint, I have my navigation bar on the top left and I want to fix it there. So only the content on the right side will scroll. We'll have a top navigation bar for the tablet, and on the mobile breakpoint, we'll have just the logo and a menu. Let's go back to the site. We're going to start with the navigation. Here's the plan. We'll create a component set for the navigation with 2 variants, one for desktop and one for tablet. Then we'll create a separate component for the mobile navigation with 2 variants as well, one for the closed menu and one for the open menu. On the left, under the File tab, we have the Insert tab. Under Libraries, click on Create on this file. Inside the styles, we can find the logo component. Insert it, hit Shift A to add auto layout. Set the top and bottom padding to 18 and the width to 250 pixels. Let's add 18 pixels of left padding as well and make it a bit smaller. Good. Rename the frame to logo and fill it with white. Next, we need the links to place in our navigation. But first, let's create a component. I'll type home, select the text, create a component, and rename it to link. Then add a variant, name it hover, change the color, and go to the interaction panel. Come and click on the default variant to select it and set an interaction. Set the trigger to while hovering, the action to change to, and select hover with a smart animate. Nice. Let's put our component in the style frame and insert an instance into the file. I'm going to duplicate it a few times and change the labels to my navigation tabs. Select them all, tidy them up, apply auto layout, and rename the group to links. Let's fill it with white, add 80 pixels of left padding, and set the width to 250, same as the logo frame. Tweak the top and bottom padding a bit, then select both frames and align them to the left. Finally, I'll add another frame to the navigation for contact. Select them all, apply auto layout, and fill the frame with white. To separate these three sections, I'm going to add a gray stroke just to the bottom of the logo and links frames. Rename the whole frame to navigation and remove the gap between objects. Now let's create the tablet version of the navigation. I'm going to set the width to 800 pixels and change the links arrangement. Then select both and create a component set. Now we have a component with two variants. Select the desktop one, go to the design panel, change the property name to size, and add a new value called desktop. Select the tablet one and assign the tablet value to the size property. Now we have a size property with two values. Perfect. For the mobile navigation, we need a different component. To create that, I'll copy the desktop navigation, drag it outside the component set, and rename it to navigation mobile. Change the width to 375, then insert a link instance into the logo frame. Double-click on alignment to set it to auto and rename the link label to menu. Now select the component and add a variant. Remove the link and contact frames and just change the menu to close. Update the property name to nav mobile and the variant values to open and close. And that's it for the mobile nav. Next up, the footer component. I'll start with a footer in desktop size, create a component, and add a variant. Change the property name to breakpoint and the value to tablet. Let's make desktop the default and adjust the tablet version accordingly. Then create a third variant for mobile. Tweak the design and place it in the style frame. Now we're ready to build the landing page. Let's refer back to our wireframe. We need to add a navigation. It will be fixed to the left top of the web page and the scrolling content will sit to the right. I'll insert a navigation instance. Make sure it's the desktop version. Looks like it landed outside the frame. Let's drag it inside and align it to the top left. Now I'll bring the hero picture and apply auto layout. The next section is about me. Let's add some placeholder content. I'll select the headline and paragraph, hit Shift A to apply auto layout and rename it to About. Let's collapse the layers and drag the About section into the web page. Now select the desktop frame. Change its layout direction to vertical. Move the About frame beneath the Hero section using the arrow keys. Select both the Hero and About section and apply auto layout again. We need the navigation fixed and the rest scrollable. To do that, grab the navigation, go to Position, and choose Fixed. If you check the Layers panel, you'll see Figma automatically created separate sections for fixed and scroll. Pretty cool. Next, select the desktop frame again. Go to the auto layout and click the individual padding icon. Set the left padding to 250. That's the width of the navigation. So everything inside will be aligned accordingly except the fixed nav. Now let's add a layout guide. Choose columns, set it to 10 with a 32 pixels margin and gutter. Tweak the spacing between the headline and paragraph, much better. Let's give the navigation component a bit of top and left padding for better balance. Now I'll select the contents frame, set its background to white and add a left stroke using the divider color. Let's hide the layout guides so we can see it more clearly. And now we have a visible divider between the fixed nav and scrollable content. Let's move on to the project section. I'll duplicate the About frame, change the headline to Projects, remove some of the paragraph content, and rename the frame to Projects. To align them perfectly, I'll command click to select the About frame and set its width to 1030 pixels, which matches the contents frame. Do the same for the projects frame. Double click on the alignment to snap it to the top with the same gaps. Let's add about 160 pixels of right padding to both sections. I'll also add a bottom stroke to the About frame as a divider and set top and bottom padding to 50 pixels. It gives us some nice breathing space. Breathing space refers to giving content enough padding and margins so everything looks clean and readable. Now let's add work samples. I want each sample to show an animation. When hovering over the icon, the image pops up and its opacity changes. On click, the logo appears with a See More label. To do that, we'll create an interactive component. First, I'll make See More label on the logo image. Press R to draw a rectangle at the bottom of the image. Adjust its size, center it with the image, fill it with black, and set the opacity to 50%. Then grab the text tool, type See More, and apply the label style. And center it over the background. I'll bump the background opacity to 60%. Looks better. To apply the same effect to the icon, I'll hold Option or Alt and drag to duplicate both the text and background into the same position on the icon image. Shrink the background and set both the text and background opacity to 0. Now I'll select the icon, text and background and make a component. I'll do the same for the logo version. Name the first one Front and the second back. Select both and click Combine as Variants. Rename the component to Work Sample 1 and change the second property name to something descriptive if needed. In the interaction panel, connect front and back using the onClick trigger. Set the action to change to back, animation to smart animate, easing to ease out, and duration to 300 milliseconds. Then connect back to front with the same setting. In the design panel, set the front variance opacity to 80%. Let's add a hover interaction, set the opacity to 100%, scale to 1.1, and tweak the Y offset slightly. Let's test in the preview. When we hover, it scales and brightens. On click, it flips to show the back. Click again and it flips back. You could link this to a separate project page if you want, but for now we're just switching variants. To make the other work samples, I'll duplicate this component and change the images. That saves us time and keeps all interaction intact. I'll pull out instances of each, line them up, and apply auto layout. Rename the frame to work samples, change the width to 1030, enable clip content, and drag the whole thing into the web page. If it's outside the content frame, just drag it in. Let's test it. Hover works, but the image gets clipped. That's because clip content is on and the scale effect goes beyond the frame. So let's increase the frame height slightly. Now the effect works. Next, we need horizontal scrolling to view all samples. With the work samples frame selected, set scroll behavior to horizontal. Preview again. Perfect. To wrap up, let's add a footer. Then select the desktop frame, go to the design panel, and change height to hide contents. Looks like the divider is cut off. Try the switching contents frame stroke from inside to outside. That fixes it. Now select the footer and add a top stroke, positioned outside to separate it from the work samples section. At this point, we're done with the design. Let's preview it to check responsiveness. Since we haven't added tablet or mobile breakpoints yet, I'll just stretch the desktop to simulate resizing. We want the content to expand on wider screens and not overlap the navigation on smaller screens. Let's fix that. Select the contents frame and set its width to fill container. Then on the desktop frame, make sure the left padding is still 250 pixels. This doesn't affect the fixed navigation. Now set all child frames, including those in contents and the footer, to fill container. Before adding breakpoints, let's, in the interaction panel, connect the back to the top link to the hero section. Set trigger to onClick, action to scroll to, and link it to the hero picture frame. Preview. Works perfectly. Now let's add a tablet breakpoint. Figma automatically added a tablet variant for our navigation component, so we just need to tweak it. On the tablet frame, remove the left padding, change the navigation from fixed to relative, align it to the top, set its width to fill container, then center the hero and about section, and set paragraph width to fill container, and repeat for the project sections. Set the work samples layout to horizontal and height to hide contents. Looks great. Now for the mobile breakpoint, select the navigation, go to the design panel and switch it to navigation mobile with the closed variant. There's a spacing issue between the logo and link. Double click on the alignment to auto set the gap. For work samples, same as tablet, set the auto layout to horizontal. Figma already switched the footer for the mobile variant since we created responsive variants earlier. Pretty cool, right? Let's preview again. Everything looks good, but navigation isn't fully responsive, and the work samples don't animate. To fix that, I'll adjust spacing in the tablet nav, set the logo frames gap to auto, and add 18 pixels right padding. Then stretch the work samples frame vertically and align layout to bottom. Set the mobile nav's width to fill container. Now everything looks great, except one last thing. Let's go to the main component, fix the link labels, and add interactions. Done. Everything works. If you want to add more pages, just click the plus icon next to the web pages and start designing. Let me know if you'd like a tutorial on multi-page site. Now let's publish this landing page. When you click publish, a window opens where you can name your site. If anything's wrong, Figma will show you what to fix before publishing. Let's hit publish and done. Everything works perfectly. If you make changes, you can just republish and update the live site. Now let's connect a custom domain. Click the connect domain button or go to the site settings and domain. Type your domain here. Make sure to start with www, not https. For example, www.yourdomain.com. Click save and Figma gives you the DNS records to add to your domain host. It might take up to 24 hours. Once connected, the status will change to active. Just a note, at the time I'm recording this, Figma doesn't support Apex domains like yourdomain.com. You'll need to redirect it to www.yourdomain.com. But if you're watching this in the future, who knows? Maybe they support it now. Figma also gives you a free SSL certificate, so you're covered here. Back in the General tab, you can change your site title and description for SEO, set the language, and even add your Google Analytics ID. You can upload a favicon or add it from your file. Same goes for the social share image. You can also inject custom code like ad tracking or a cookie consent banner. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and picked up something new. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your questions or suggestions in the comments. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, elevate and create.